Yo, what up, gamers? I'm Report Arc, and today Riot have revealed the changes that are going to be happening in preseason 13. So that I would just go over those changes with you guys, so you can all keep aware if you haven't seen that. So the first change that is going to be happening is the return of Chemtech Drake. You know, that's the Drake that got removed earlier on this year, and they decided they wanted to rework because it kind of sucked. So what it's going to do now, around this time, is Chemtech Drake will now grant a small amount of tenacity and heal/shield strength when slain. Very interesting, so better for enchanters. Chemtech Soul will grant bonus damage when below a certain amount of health. So basically, you know, just helps you to execute champions. It's going to be pretty good on assassins, I guess. Also just cleaning up team fights. So very basic compared to the old Chemtech Drake, which was only really good against tanks. So that was a really weird design from the start. This is much better right off the bat. Alongside the Chemtech Drake, the Rift will take on a new Chemtech-inspired appearance. So people hated the old Chemtech Drake map. It was fucking awful. Everybody was invisible at all times. You couldn't fucking... Wards were useless. They didn't do anything. It was terrible. So this time around, what the new Drake does is blast cones will now blast those in range twice as far as before. So that's going to be some really big jumps. I haven't seen that yet, but that's going to be interesting, I guess. Honey fruits will upgrade into stem fruits, no longer slowing champions that consume them. Nice. And granting a small bonus shield in addition to the usual heal. So I do wonder if that shield is going to stack. I would assume so. And I wonder how long it lasts as well. It's not really giving much detail here. Square's Bloom will upgrade into Stalker's Bloom. So that's the vision plant. When hit, these plants will now reveal a small circular area around the plant and a cone opposite of the direction it was hit. Granting movement speed towards revealed enemy champions and reducing wards revealed to 1 health. Okay, so it makes it much better for reducing vision. It's actually quite nice. I wish they would do that with regular plants, I guess, because so many times you just hit the plant and there's so many fucking wards and you just don't have time to clear them all. Whereas I feel like if you do manage to reveal so many wards, you should get to clear them, right? Anyway, aside from that, so there's also a lot of changes coming towards the jungle to try and make jungle friendlier for beginners. So the first thing is these avatar smites and jungle pets. Purchase them in-game, in the in-game shop as an egg. These pets will acquire treats through monster kills, and slow every time as the game progresses will help them evolve. Once evolved pets will give their owners avatar buffs, which will empower them with different abilities. So Noxian Amber Cat, this will be the pet choice of junglers looking to play more aggressively, sorry. It will provide slows and bonus damage. So it's like blue smite, but as a pet, I guess. Then Extaliaxamander, however you say that. Jungle pet is perfect for junglers looking to frontline and tank for the teams. Will provide a shield based on your health. Provides bonus low resistant tenacity when broken. So obviously that's one for tanks. The other one, this jungle pet will be great for junglers looking to rotate and move around the map more quickly. This will provide bonus movement speed. So I think either... I'm not sure whether the top one or the bottom one would be best for assassins. They both seem like would be good, so I guess it might just be personal preference or whichever is balanced to be stronger at any given time. Leashing range indicators also being added, so people don't just let the camps run out of patience as easily as they can, because it is very hard to tell, honestly. You need a lot of experience in the jungle to actually know those ranges perfectly, so definitely a very sensible change. They're also adding recommended jungle paths. I definitely like that. So it's going to gather data from high-skilled junglers on their high-mastery champs across the globe. And pathing recommendations are based on which routes most often led these players to a victory. So it's going to be partially based on win rate, as well as I would assume pick rate. And is updated each patch, so it's almost always going to be up to date, just maybe sometimes one patch behind if something changes to make one pathing better than another. Then we're also getting a lot more communication tools. The updated ping wheel, what was this? The 8 pings on the wheel will now be as follows. So returning pings, retreat on my way, assist me, enemy missing. These are just the ones we already have. Then the new oh right, returning. That's what that means. Then the new pings are push, all in. That is such a good one actually. And hold and bait. I look at those actually so good. I love those. Especially the all-in and bait. I don't know what hold... Oh, hold it, right, for freezing. That one is also super important. Dude, I was streaming earlier on today. So many times today, I was playing like D3, D2, D1. And so many times my support would be handed a chance to freeze and they just would not do it. And I had my chat disabled, so I couldn't even tell them to. And even if I did, like, you know, they have to reach out in time to actually do it. This ping is going to be so fucking useful for just telling your supports to do what they should already know they should be doing. But apparently they don't, because they're support mains. And then we also have the new vision pings. So on top of just indicating that there's vision, you know, a ward wherever you want to go, which is what we have at the moment, you can also indicate vision cleared. What does that mean? That you've just cleared vision there? Oh, right, yeah. It's basically to communicate to your jungler that there is no vision there. You've already made sure of that, so it's a good time to gank. Then enemy vision is like, you know, telling your jungler where they shouldn't gank from. And need vision also very good for ADCs laning with supports if they have wards and you don't, and you know that you need vision somewhere. Also, if you know a better like spot for their ward than what you assume they are going to do, that's also very useful. Then there's also objective voting, which I had never thought about before, but it makes a lot of sense. So you can just see here, it comes up with sort of like a surrender vote, but for the Infernal Drake, because it's coming up, and you as a team get to vote, like, do you want to contest this or not? And that's really useful because a lot of the time you'll have like 2 to 3 people going in and then the other 2 just assuming that you're just going to give it because, you know, you're way too behind. And so if you have like everybody except one guy voting no, just give up the Drake, it's going to be a lot less likely that one person goes in on their own. So it definitely helps you, like all of these new changes, they're definitely going to help you play as a team better with random players without having to introduce voice comms into the mix. So that's very nice. And there's off-screen pings. Oh, this will tell you when a ping happens, it will tell you which direction the ping came from by displaying it on the edge of your screen, which is also kind of useful. You know, if you're playing without a minimap, probably not that useful if you do have a minimap though. Yeah, it can be somewhat useful though. I guess we'll just have to see. I'll have to experience it really to know how useful it is. So vision system updates, allied ward tracking. It tells you basically when wards are expiring. So the wards on the map will have an appearance change when the wards reach 60 and 30 seconds remaining before they expire. So you know when vision is running out, which is very useful because I definitely am guilty of just like letting wards expire and not realizing until like the vision is gone. And suddenly I have to like walk really far back to go replace that vision when I could have done it previously. Definitely going to be super useful. Enemy ward timers. It can be hard to keep track of every single ward that gets placed on the map, and even harder to successfully communicate that information to your teammates. Now, if you ping an enemy ward that you saw them place within the last 10 seconds, a perfectly accurate ward timer will appear until the ward is removed or expires. That is so good, actually. Holy crap, yeah. Definitely, so if you ping a ward right as it gets placed, your jungler will know when it's going to run out. That's really useful. Then a bit more niche, but I guess sort of replacing the need for apps like Blitz, for those of you that use that. So loadout and ability recommendations, recommended rune page, and summoner spells. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. It's just going to tell you the recommended runes for each champion, I assume. Again, based off of run rate and what's popular. Recommended abilities. Recommended level ups. I missed that one the first time around, but yeah, that's also very useful. Yeah, once again, updated once per patch and based off of what's popular. Not sure if it's updated based on what has the highest win rate. But what's popular is fine enough if you just have no clue what the champion is about. Top lane changes will also be making some adjustments to help. Oh, yeah, I've read these earlier. It's a fucking disaster for us ADC mains, man. So to help top lane, solo lane experience. Solo lanes will now receive a 95 experience multiplier instead of 93%. So solo laners now get 2% extra experience as long as, you know, they are solo. Whereas dual lanes, you know, the ADC and the support, when paired together, will now get 22% bonus experience as opposed to 24%. So solo laners get 2% extra, bot laners get 2% less. So now there's a 4% differential that wasn't there, which, yeah, it's just going to help to reduce bot lane impact. And also increase top lane impact. Hooray! And then also to balance out the fact that this also buffs mid lane, which doesn't need buffs. All minions spawned on the mid lane will now be worth 1 less gold before 14 minutes when last hit. Previously only cannons minions were worth less gold, but worth 10 less gold. So I suppose overall this means even less gold in mid lane than before, so long as you lost it like a semi-respectable amount of minions, I guess. But at least, I don't know where I was going with that. Forget that sentence. New and updated items. We're introducing 12 new / updated items in the preseason. As a disclaimer, please. Yeah, these, you know, they haven't finalized these changes. This is just like perspective. This is what they're thinking about, and maybe what they end up with on live servers, but they may need to nerf some stuff. Notice that they haven't introduced the cost because, you know, that's still being, you know, it's a work in progress. So Kathia's endurance, mythic item, 400 health, 300 armor. It's just tank items. Okay, so this is like to encourage extended fights, which, I mean, any fight a tank is going to be in, unless it's against Vayne, it's always going to be an extended fight. So a max stacks become empowered, instantly draining enemies around you for 4% of your maximum health each. 4% of your maximum health, so that's actually quite a bit considering, you know, tanks build a lot of HP. Reduced against minions and monsters for less wave clear. Doubling your resist from stacks until the end of combat. So how much is that? Okay, so that... For each second, so across 10 seconds, that gives you 30 armor and magic resist. That is a lot, and it already gives you 30 armor and magic resist. And then when it hits 30, you know, when it hits 10 stacks, it also doubles that. So that is actually 60 armor and DMR. So that's going to be, in total, in a 10-second fight, it's going to start giving the user 400 health, 90 armor, and 90 MR. That is fucking crazy, man. Also, while dealing damage. That seems so much stronger than the current tank mythics. What the hell? Unless they make that like 4,000 gold. They're going to need to nerf some tanks, man. Then grants all other legendary items, 5 armor, and magic resist. Yeah, that's decent. Then Radiant Virtue, mythic item. Another one for tanks. Same stats. Upon casting ultimate, you transcend, increasing your maximum health by 10% for 9 seconds. That sounds interesting on Cho'Gath. I wonder if it happens instantly, so it would increase your ultimate damage. That'd be nice. While transcended, you and allies within 1200 range of you gain 25 non-ultimate ability haste. Ooh, wow. So you're giving your allies ability haste, like all of your allies. Holy crap, like in a team fight. That is... I don't want to overuse the word crazy. So that is bonkers. God damn, that is absolutely ridiculous. You and allies will also heal for 1.5% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. So you're fucking healing your allies as a tank. Increased by up to 100% based on that champion's missing health. Healing is doubled on yourself. 90-second cooldown. Fucking also, I can heal up to double that if your champion is low. Oh, and the healing is doubled on yourself. My god, all of these are making these tanks so tanky, man. Holy crap. Grants all other legend items 100 health. I swear these passives are also like better than the current tank mythics. Is it their intention to giga buff tanks or what? Vayne meta incoming. So Iceborne Gauntlet, that's being brought back. It's a previous item that was in the game before. Now going to be much different, I guess, though, because the previous version only gave armor. It was like a alternative to Frozen Heart. So this one gives 400 health, 40 armor, and 20 ability haste. So Spellblade, this is going to be a Sheen item, assuming it's anything like the old one. And also I'm assuming because it's a Spellblade, that's Sheen's item passive. So after using an ability, your next attack is enhanced with an additional 100% based AoE physical damage and creates a frost field for 2.5 seconds. That's basically what the old one did. It literally what the old one did, actually. Enemies that move across the field are slowed by 15%, plus a percentage of your maximum health. Your primate, what do monkeys have to do with this? Is slowed by double the amount and has their damage against you reduced by 10% for 2.5 seconds. Oh wow, so even more damage reduction, yay! Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 50 health, 5% tenacity, and 5% slow resist. That sounds more like the current mythics we have. Okay, so 1.5 second cooldown, obviously. So this is the kind of tank mythic that you're going to want on tanks that have low cooldowns, or just, you know, just very spammable abilities. If you have like 3 abilities that are semi-spammable, that's still going to be a really good use for Iceborne Gauntlet. You don't have to, you know, be like Ezreal, where your ability's on a 0-second cooldown. There's also potential for this to get abused by Ezreal. I would assume probably not, but you never know. Weirder things have happened with Ezreal builds. Goliath's Ascendery, another tank item. They're a big fan of tanks this season, apparently. So 800 health, my god, 200% base health regeneration, 20 ability haste. So the passive is Colossal Consumption, charge up a powerful attack against the champion over 3 seconds. that inactive? It must be. While within 600 range of them. I don't know if it's an active or a passive actually, but I think it might be a passive. Anyway, the charged attack drains the target, dealing 50 to 10%, 50 plus 10%, sorry, of your maximum health as bonus physical damage, and healing you that same amount. You permanently gain maximum health equal to 50% of the drain. Wow, so this is a hella scaling tank item then. Wait, this basically turns every tank into like Scion and Cho'Gath, where your health is actually like infinitely scaling. This is going to be so good on Cho'Gath, actually. What the hell? Because obviously his ultimate damage is increased by health. This only gives health, no resistances whatsoever. Any champion that scales really well with health is just going to be crazy with that. At 800, I don't think any item in the game currently gives that amount. You probably... Yeah, so only 15% with the drain. I don't think... I mean... So early game, I don't think that's going to be a lot. But as you get a lot more maximum health... That'll start to hit a lot harder and start giving you a lot more HP. So it's not only like going to help you skill towards the late game, but even in the late game, like the damage itself is going to be crazy, and even the HP increases late game can actually probably influence the team fight, I guess. Maximum health will be lost if the item is sold, so no gaming the system. And then grants all other legendary items 1% increased health and 6% champion size. 6%, that is bigger than the current blue tank mythic, isn't it? Good them. And 1% extra health. That, wow, that can be a lot of fucking HP. I'm just trying to imagine Cho'Gath here with, you know, fully stacked ultimate. Yeah, it's infinitely scaling in theory, but, you know, just a fuck ton of ultimate charges. Full build, so 6 times 5, 30% extra size. I don't know if there's any other way to increase size, but that is going to be one massive fucking Cho'Gath. I'm all for it. I love seeing huge champions. Super fun. Anyway, so they're bringing back Rod of Ages. I was actually talking about this on Reddit, like, I don't know, like a month ago, where I missed this item, and now it's actually back. I had no idea this was coming back, but it's super good. So, this was removed during the item rework. This gives 60 ability power, then 300 health, 300 mana, and the item passive is, this item gains 20 health, 20 mana, and 4 ability power every minute, up to 10 times. So once it's fully stacked, oh, it's just going to tell you I don't have to do the math, nice. It's going to give you 200 extra health, so that's 500 total, 200 mana, 500 mana total, and 40 ability power, so 100 ability power total. This is pretty big because it gives you like the maximum amount that you can get from maximum amount of AP that you can get from an item, while also giving you a ton of health and also giving you a bunch of mana as well. So especially for like duelist AP champions, gonna be super good. And you know, if you just love that scaling playstyle, it'll probably be, I imagine it could maybe be viable on just any champion, although we'll any AP champion, although we'll have to see, because the old one was around at the same time as the old Seraph's Embrace, which also give you a fuck ton of AP if you combine it with Rod of Ages. Now it only gives ability haste, so it might not be as good. So maybe just for those tanky AP champions, but either way, I'm excited to see that back. And the Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 5 ability haste, which is weird considering the item itself doesn't actually give any ability haste. But definitely makes it so you won't miss out too much on ability haste just by going this item, which used to be the case. Then Catalyst of Eons. This has to be a component. Oh, which will build into Rod of Ages, I assume, because this did used to be in the game back in the day, and it did build into that. So it gives 225 health, 300 mana, restore mana equal to 50% damage taken from champions, and health equal to 20% of mana spent. Yeah, so it basically restores mana when you take damage, and restores health when you spend mana, so it helps you stay in fights longer. Interesting that they haven't added this passive onto Rod of Ages, because that's how it used to be. It's gonna feel awkward upgrading this into Rod of Ages and just suddenly losing that passive, but you know, it's still gonna be worth it. It's just a fun passive, so I would have preferred it on Rod of Ages still. Then Abyssal Mask, another removed item from back in the day. This time it's giving a lot of health. Oh, and it's also a version that doesn't give AP. It used to give AP, like, really back in the day. So 500 health, 300 mana, 14 magic resist, 10 ability haste restore. Oh, this is going to be another thing that builds out of Catalyst of Eons. Aeons? I don't know how you say that. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe this doesn't even build into Rod of Ages, because this item does get to keep this passive. So maybe it just doesn't build into Rod of Ages anymore like it used to. Could be. So, you know, you just keep the passive, same passive as before. Unmake curse nearby champions, reducing the magic resist by 5%. So you can reduce enemies' magic resist, so it's really good if you have a comp full of magic damage, not just full of AP. Like, you know, if you play Zeri, for example, Zeri deals like almost 50% magic damage. So if you're playing with a Zeri and you're playing an AP champion, especially, I'm guessing this is a tank item, and you can lower the enemy's Amar, that's going to be really good for the Zeri. And you also gain Amar as well. So it's a very good anti-mage item, especially, is how it used to be back in the day as well. Champion can only be cursed by one enemy at a time. So a big difference is that back in the day it used to be AoE. It used to be really crazy. It even gave AP. It was so good for mages that at one point there was a meta that was just Rush Abyssal Mask, or was it Abyssal Staff at the time? I'm not sure. But basically whichever mage finished it first would just fucking curb stomp the other one because it was so busted. Then Sunfire Aegis, Sunfire Cape is how I still think of it, is no longer a mythic item. Now it just gives 400 health, 50 armor. I don't know if that's changed. You know, it just gives the standard Sunfire Aegis passive. I don't know if it's changed at all. I don't know what the current numbers are, but it's, you know, basically doing the same thing. Then Turbo Chemtech, also not a mythic item, so they just want to make it like a regular active that anybody can pick up if they're a tank without having to fully commit it as their mythic as well, which is really useful. It's still the same item. We're not going to read that. Randuin's Omen. I need to silence this phone. It's spamming me on Instagram, man. So the new... No, that's not really a new active, but briefly slow nearby enemies by 55% for 2 seconds. I think that's just the same as it already is. 400 health, 70 armor, about the same as what it gives at the moment, I assume. Reduce incoming damage from attacks by up to 5, plus a percentage of your maximum health, capped at 40% of the attack's damage. I think that's also what it still gives. Have they changed anything, man? This is exactly the same. I swear to God. Maybe they just slightly changed the numbers, but I'm going to skip anything where I think they only changed the numbers. So Spear of Shojin, another item that got removed. This is not an like old item, like oldie item from back in the old days though, because this was like relatively new back when they removed it. But let's see what it does now. 65 attack damage, so 300 health. It didn't used to give health, I don't think. Wait, did it? Huh, I may want to retract that claim because maybe it did. I'm not sure. Your non-ultimate spells gain some amount of ability haste. More for melee champions. Ability haste for mobilizing spells. What does that mean? Oh, right. Oh, so it's reduced to a certain amount. So like if you're... Okay, so if you're like Morgana, you can't just buy this item and like permanently CC somebody anymore. They basically... So any ability that CCs is not going to get full reduction for this item. So this gives you regular ability haste, but then also gives you like extra ability haste for your non-ultimate abilities. So that's interesting. It's a lot different than what it used to do back in the day, which is good because it was really fucking disturbing. That's why they removed it. Then also gain up to blah 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 movement speed based on your missing health. Wow, that's weird. That's gonna be really... that's a shame they didn't introduce that with a AP component, because that would be really fun for Singed. Maybe it's for the best that we don't experience that though. And Ravenous Hydra, did they change anything here? I think I heard about them changing something. Oh, gain 0.5 AD and 0.1% Omnivamp whenever you kill an enemy, stacking up to 25 AD and 5% Omnivamp. That is going to be a lot of AD, holy crap. Oh, this is like the old Bloodthirster. Lose 50% of these stacks on death. So when I started playing League, by the way, there was like no lethality items, right? Only Brutalizer, which upgraded into nothing. Maybe just Yomu's Blade, I'm not sure. And I think that came later, I'm not sure. But, so back in the day, you would just stack Bloodthirsters, and Bloodthirster gave like 60 AD, and up to 40 extra the more you lost hit. So this is basically what this is going to do as well. And then you also lost... It used to be at first that you lost all of the stacks on death, and then they made it so you only lose 50%. So after that, it became very easy to just keep it fully stacked up, and always have it stacked up for fights, pretty much. So they're reintroducing the mechanic. I actually love that because it was so fun to play around it. Like it completely warps your gameplay, but in a good way. Like you're feeling good about it. Like you're like, okay, I'm alive. I'm gonna go farm some minions now, get some full strength, get on my AD, and now I'm gonna rejoin this fight. I'm pretty sure it did also give extra lifesteal as well, but it was mainly the AD that I cared about back in the day as a talent player. Can only hit each target once per attacker. I think that's what it currently does too. And that's gonna be all of the changes. Honestly, I'm really excited. Unfortunately, I don't think there's much to care about as an ADC main here. Well, the communication tools are going to be so fucking useful. That is for sure a really big upgrade. But unfortunately, no ADC-centric changes. Just tank changes, some bruiser items, some AP items. I mean, maybe this Ravenous Hydra version could be useful for some ADCs. We'll have to wait and see, honestly. Even this maybe could be useful. I don't know. We could always see a world where somehow full tank casual becomes meta with the new Iceborne Gauntlet. Pair him with Spear of Shojin with a ridiculous amount of ability haste on his Q. Pair him with a Titanic Hydra for some insane Omnivamp and AD. And ability haste as well. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe there will be room for some really fucked up ADC shenanigans. We'll have to wait and see, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope you're all as excited for the Season 13 changes as I am. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, gamers.